Good evening, everyone. This is Rob Lashley with MMORPG.com. I have with me tonight Richard Garriott and Starr of Portalarium, and we're showing off some Update 9 features for Shroud of the Avatar. Good evening, gentlemen.
Evening.
Good evening. Great to be with you tonight.
Thanks for joining us as always. I understand you guys are at Dragon Con.
We are. We're at Dragon Con, and we're also in the arena, which we changed the names for Release 9 from Chaos versus Virtue to Dragon Con versus PAX.
And we also have, while Starr and I are down here at Dragon Con Atlanta, we have 3 other Portalarium staffers up at PAX. So we're all recruiting followers to come and duke it out here in Release 9.
All right, so one of the big features that was added in Release 9 was this arena and this team PvP, correct?
That's right. So we started in Release 8 with PvP arenas, but they were really just sort of open PvP areas. And this release, we added some team rules. So right now, a match is going on, right? We just finished the downtime between matches, and a match is going on, which now scores. So if you and I, hopefully the teams are balanced, and so let's both try and run into the Dragon Con door. One of us might get turned back to keep the team balanced, because that was the other thing we did. Did you get a message that said you have to go on the other side? I
got turned back.
Okay, so you're going to have to go fight for PAX.
Okay, that's all right. We'll forgive you.
We'll forgive you for fighting for PAX.
I tried again. I got the same message, so I'll go over to the PAX side.
Yeah, you got to go to the PAX side, because part of the way the team rules set up is we try to keep the team numbers balanced. And so if one team has more members than the other, then we make you go fight on the other team.
Sounds fair.
Let me turn my sound effects off.
Alright, so I'm with Papa Woody, Silverglade Sunrunner, and Mookie Mookie.
Yeah, Papa Woody, by the way, is a very experienced player. He's played in every release. So if I were you, I'd stick with him. He can probably keep you alive.
Yeah, so the way this, basically it's pretty simple team structure. The match is 10 minutes long, and basically at the end of it, the team with the highest kill count wins the match. And we're keeping track this weekend to see who wins the weekend, whether it's PAX or Dragon Con. First, I think the first day, Dragon Con won. So I got to represent.
Sounds good. Now I'm having a little bit of issues, and I had this before we went live. I get fizzles whenever I try to summon my ice elemental. Are you trying to?
Oh,
two things. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 things. So right now, your character is in heavy plate. And so if you're wearing plate, that increases your fizzle chance for magic. So you might have some lighter armor in your inventory. So if you hit C and I.
C to bring up your character sheet, I to bring up your inventory.
You might have some lighter armor in there in the equipment tab. Like some cloth or leather. That'll decrease your fizzle chance.
And also, of course, don't forget that if you're trying to do a spell that has a long summoning time, you want to make sure no one can interfere with you. So you'll want to do that when you're kind of hiding by yourself off in a corner, not when you're in the middle of a melee combat.
Well, I was off in hiding when I was trying to do it. It was
Then I'm sure that was the other issue, which was wearing heavy armor. So while our game is classless, you can gain skills and try to use them under any circumstances throughout your gaming experience. So, but the way we encourage people to fulfill the role of one class or another and not be just a tank that can do everything at the same time, we have created rules where certain kinds of activities interfere with each other. So in this case, heavy plate armor interferes with a lot of the groups of magic, and so that's why that was fizzling. Is you're wearing heavy plate armor while trying also to cast magic spells to summon that fire elemental.
And this is why you should be playing your own accounts, not one of our demo accounts. So there you go.
All right, you've shamed me.
Yeah.
Release 10, I'll make sure that I
yeah.
get in there and play on my own account.
Competitive gaming is all about, right? Is shaming.
Yes, that's part of it.
Yeah. Yes, actually, I probably should have checked that what they had equipped you with before I let you start playing.
No, that's all right. I did check. They don't have any light armor or cloth armor on this character from what I saw. I could always swap accounts if I really wanted to get on a caster.
Oh, I've got... So in the next downtime, I'll give you some.
Okay.
Meanwhile, just... eventually you will cast those spells. They're just going to fizzle.
Well, the problem I feel right now is that most of my abilities on my bar are magic, and then I have a big two-handed sword. So it's not really synergizing very well for me.
So I will appropriately punish whoever on my team built that deck for you. So rest assured.
Heads will roll.
Heads will roll.
I finally summoned that ice elemental.
Oh, there you go.
Excellent. There it is.
It did work. I've got a lot of ice elementals, death rays, ice fields popping up, some heals, no real melee abilities popping up for me.
I'm going to give you some light armor, so that'll fix that. Oh, I just died.
That happens?
Who, my character?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm unlike Lord British, the coward. I mean the virtuous. I'm not invulnerable.
But as much of a target as Starr is, I even have a bigger bullseye on the back of my head, and so the only way I can play without just being constantly ganked is if I remain invulnerable.
Fortunately, I do not have that problem
of being a big target.
Not right now. It does happen from time to time when I'm streaming, though. It's like, oh, that's the guy that's giving the feed. Let me go kill him so we can all see me. It's not happening right now. I'm staying alive. Ice elemental's following me around. I think he's a deterrent.
If you hit the 0 on your numpad, you can see the current stats for the game, like who has the most kills, etc. Of course, it also blocks a big part of your screen.
Apollyon, yeah. Apollyon does for your team. You've only got 2.
Yeah, it's the classic I'm talking and trying to fight at the same time.
I have all heal. There we go. Finally got something that's not a heal. I had all slugs and some heals.
Oh, that's convenient.
Oh yes, this is a very, very fun deck for me. I should sit here and just heal my team members. I think that's what I'm going to do. Imagine that.
Play support role. There you go.
It's just...
Of course, a support role with fizzles.
Yeah.
Oh, I got killed again. Oh, man. Pax is coming back from behind.
I found my calling. Just going to sit here and healing ray people. I have my ice elemental beat on people that are attacking me.
Oh, there you go. See, you're learning how to use your deck right there.
I am. Now I just got to realize why I have big heavy armor and a huge two-handed sword.
That's probably because oh, I just realized. So this demo account is the same one that we use at PAX for players to play with at PAX. And so probably what has happened is whatever we had set up got overridden by whoever was playing it on the show floor at PAX.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Blame it on the
Oh yeah,
attendees.
I'm going to blame it on the customer. Because that's always a good plan as a developer, is to blame it.
It's their fault. It's their responsibility we didn't make a great deck.
They just overwrote. We probably had a perfect deck set up for you. And they just overwrote it. That's what I'm sticking with that.
All right. We'll get it figured out in the next 30 seconds. Now we just got to solve the
better.
mystery of why there's no light armor on this character. Maybe they deleted that too.
They might have sold it to a shopkeeper.
Oh,
Could
actually,
be.
that is quite reasonably likely. In order to make some money to buy some healing potions or something.
Well, again, just playing around, like somebody
yeah.
walking up at PAX to watch it, to play a demo would do something like, I'm just going to sell all my stuff. Dragon Con is victorious again.
Congratulations.
Hooray, Dragon Con!
We had Ohm, 4 kills. Good job.
Okay, so let's see. Where are you?
I am over here
there you go.
in the corner.
All right, I'm going to give you some stuff.
Stuff.
Yeah. So let me get you some light armor.
Okay. I notice you're not giving me crappy light armor either. I appreciate that.
Yes, I'm giving you as much good stuff as I happen to have. I don't have a full set of Epic, but this will protect you less, but you should get a lot less fizzles. And let's see, what do I? Okay.
Gloves.
Do I have gloves?
I don't see any.
Oh
Bracers.
yeah, here we go. There's some bracers. There you go.
You can accept on your side too. Yeah.
So there you go. So that should be a lot less. Let's see. What do I have a better weapon for you? Did you have any weapon skills at all show up?
No.
Or is it just all magic?
All magic.
Do you have a wand you can give him?
I don't have a wand.
I might have a Founder's Wand on my account. Let's go check. I do see some Founder's weapons here.
Yeah, I don't think there's a wand in there though.
Well, then I'm just...
All right, we're gonna do one more match, and then we'll head over to check out a couple of the other new areas that we added this release.
Sounds good.
And any questions while we're? So another match started. So as soon as you're all equipped and stuff, we can jump back in. All right, so you should get a lot less fizzles and a lot less slugs now.
All right, sounds good.
All right. So let's see if let me go into Dragon Con.
Oh, I went over to PAX. PAX represent.
Oh, that's good. No, that's good. We'll fight each other.
That's great.
As developers and press always should.
It should be a contentious relationship.
Yeah. Because, part of your job is to point out when we do bad things. So just a reminder to everyone watching, we are in pre-alpha. That's why there's the big yellow letters in the corner that remind us of that. So still very early in development. We just got PvP in the release, last release. And our deck or / dynamic combat, that has also only been in a couple of releases now. So that was introduced last time as well. So we're still really early. It's only been a couple of months, but we're already really getting great data from it for balancing purposes, for tuning, things like that. So we're really happy with, we originally had PvP we talked about this in the last stream. We originally had PvP much later in the schedule, and then we pulled it up closer to really get, because we felt like we were going to get a lot better data for balance and such. So, and that has proved true for sure.
Yeah, we figured in, and it's demonstrating to be accurate, that by balancing PvP, it means the PvE part of the game is sort of already pre-balanced. Whereas if we had done the PvE part of the game first, we might actually end up changing a bunch of it when we went to PvP. So it's the right order of operations. Even though I know a lot of the people are sort of waiting for other aspects of combat or other parts of the game systems too, this was just strategically for us the right order of operations.
So are you noticing less slugs and less fizzles now?
Yes, less fizzles. Not necessarily less slugs. I wasn't getting a ton of slugs to begin with. But
it was really mainly the fizzle. So
correct.
So you should be getting less fizzles now.
Yeah, and I'm trying to focus on healing, and now people are coming and beating on me. They're like, "Oh, that guy's healing. Let's pound on him now."
That guy actually figured out.
Yeah, he figured out what he was supposed to do. It's time to kill him. So speaking of order of operations, this is the encore presentation of Update 9. So we should be seeing Update 10 in what, the next 3 weeks? Or are you going to the quarter release?
No, we're still doing it every month. So we're going to keep the rhythm of once a month indefinitely.
So yeah, it's going to be 3 weeks. About 3.5 weeks. Third week of September.
Okay.
What
can
the players expect to see in Update 10?
So the way we kind of structure our updates is for about every three release.
Third release.
Every third, fourth release, we do what we call a polished release, where we focus on less content and more about like just general polish and fixing bugs, and we try to just maintain that sort of quarterly pace of, well, let's just take a breather, kind of build up some stability, build up some optimizations for better performance, etc. And so next release is mainly a polished release, but it's also going to include some new content. So for instance, right now, while we're really pleased with how our deck combat is coming along, it's still a kind of a little bit of a steep learning curve because it's so different than the kind of traditional static combat bar. And so one of the things we're adding in next release is what we call a default deck. So basically, we automatically build a deck for you based on what points you put in your skill tree. And so that's kind of a
so your nominal deck is precisely your skill tree. So if I've put 5 points into fireballs, I get 5 glyphs of fireballs in my deck, and so until you're ready to be an advanced user and try to optimize your deck, at least I think that's an 80% solution for the majority of people is just to use that default deck, and it's really only the advanced players who have really enough skill points distributed to have multiple play types they might want to play from one session to another. That they might need to build multiple decks. As we're saving that now to be more of an advanced function than the function you must do for the first time you enter combat.
Oh, it totally makes sense to me. Lowers the barrier of entry for combat.
Yeah,
exactly.
Some other new things like so after we do this match, we're going to head over to a new city that we introduced this release called Arteris, which is kind of like a Venice meets Hong Kong kind of
Asian Venice.
East-Western mix, a mashup. And there's a couple of parts of that city where the castles are that we didn't quite finish, and so those are going to be added in the next release. And that's part of the part of our methodology is we have our scheduled releases, and that's always usually the third, sometimes the fourth week, but almost always the third week of the month. And basically our plan is we're always going to meet that date. We're never going to be late. We're never going to be early, but we're never going to be late for sure. And the only thing that is variable is what's the exact content in that release. So we kind of made a decision early on that we felt like the regularity of those releases was more important than the actual content per se. And so I think a great example is that city. When we got close to finishing our final week, which is where we would fix bugs and polish and things like that, and we just looked at that area and we're like, look, we're just not going to have time to finish that, so let's just seal that part of the map off. We'll still send the city out, but we'll just lop off that part and still maintain our date.
Well, I just got mowed down walking into the combat that time. Your team is just
we're dominating
us.
It's a little
and by the way,
tipped in our favor. I'm not sure why, but I mean, I could, and it's not me. Interestingly, I'm not getting the highest kill count.
No, now, it's not. It's no, actually, you are. You and Stormblessed are both at 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
back off, dude.
Okay. Well, the other thing to well, it's interesting. This should be a. They may be. I don't know why.
It is interesting. I have this opinion when the gateways were named Virtue and Chaos. As much as I might like to think that people would follow Lord British into the virtue path as clearly the right and noble proper path for people to take. Yeah. It seems pretty clear that the people who enjoy PvP the most are the people who would much rather be associated with chaos than virtue. Yes. And so I've noticed that just as a general trend, the red side, the chaos side, classically has been getting the more aggressive PvP players into it. So that sadly adds to my distress as the leader of the forces of virtue, that so many of these people would turn against me.
So what you're saying is buff blue.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We need to nerf the chaos team.
Well, and what's really funny is, as you know, we leave my character as invulnerable, and so there's this, but otherwise my character is normal. So in fact, I'm not even that good a PvPer. So
he's invulnerable. Otherwise, he's normal.
Yeah. Well, what I mean by that is that I can't kill people any faster than anyone else, and in fact, I'm probably not nearly as good a PvPer as many other players are. And so, so I find that even though I won't up the deaths on the team that I'm on, I definitely also don't help our kill count on the team that I'm on. And so what I found was the best way for me to help teams is to rush into the enemy spawn zone and distract as many of the enemy that are responding to try to fight me, which of course is an exercise in futility, which leaves fewer of them out on the main battlefield, and so the larger forces of virtue at that point can often take them down. So anyway, that's Lord British's method of using his invulnerability to the advantage of the teams that he plays on, which I know is cheating. I know, but I admit it. It's one of the only ways I can help the forces of virtue at this time.
So much for being virtuous. I cheat. I know.
Yeah. It is interesting that, now that you point out the fallacy of my position, how often that actually comes up between Starr and I. Starr is definitely the more gun-shy from a number of subjects that we debate about player behavior than I am. I'm definitely the one who errs more on letting people do dastardly things than he does. Which might seem antithetical to our personalities, but it's true.
The players, while we're standing here, so I'm thanking the players for putting on a great show and the arena, and somebody's response is like, yeah, that was awesome, now get rid of that shitty deck system. And it's like, oh, thanks. But that's right. Somebody jumped in and was like, I think it's great.
Yeah, I wasn't going to point that out, but since you did for us.
Hey,
right.
The one thing that we're really, we try really hard
to encourage people to speak their mind, because we really want to know. We want to know, while we still have time to react and improve and adjust things, what people really think, to make sure we deliver the best game possible. And so everybody knows that as long as they don't use foul language and are generally speaking respectful with their strong opinions, that they should express their strong opinions. It's the only way we're going to make the game better.
Well, what I've discovered through my play with it is that it takes my focus off of the actual combat and pulls it down to the UI element that shows the different cards, because you don't necessarily know what order they're going to pop up in. So it's not like you can memorize your keybinds. So you got to kind of keep an eye down there in the UI to see what's popping up, and that's taken away from what's actually going on in front of you.
Right, and we've actually talked about that too. I think the primary advantage of the deck-like system is that instead of just having cooldown timers go on, preset skills in preset slots, their recovery time, the time they become available to you again, is also based on how, the more diverse you build a deck, the more glyphs you put in your deck, the less they will be refreshed, into your shortcut bar. But we also internally debate whether, and have at least discussed whether they should show up in random slots or show up in more predictable slots. So we'll probably play with that, or at least consider it as we go forward. But we're aware of that critique that you offered as well.
Yeah, and a lot, and that's part of the steeper learning curve we were talking about before. We worked pretty hard on the color coding and the iconography on the icons. So, for instance, anything with a red border deals damage. Anything with a blue border heals. Anything with a green border is a buff. Anything with a yellow border debuffs. So after a while, you kind of, again, it takes a little bit, but in your sort of peripheral vision, you'll right off the bat know it's a damage thing without even really having to look closely at it. And that's just something that takes a little bit of practice and getting used to make that happen. But we're totally aware of that learning curve and know that it's going to take some tweaking. But we do still feel like the dynamic nature of the content and it makes each combat experience different is worth it.
Again, what we're trying to get away from is too many role-playing games fall into the almost macroable min-max sequence of events you can do, and we believe the foundation of this system makes it such that no two people, even with identical stats and identical skills, will end up being the same because there's even more variables, such as how you build out your deck that can be different between you. And even if you somehow manage to have the same stats, same skills, and same deck, it'll still be different, just based upon the draw order of how those sigils come up on screen. And so we think it will bring a great deal of variety and dynamism into the events. But again, it's only been up. We've only had it online for 30 days total ourselves at all. We just got it up in time for release 8, and we've been working with it through now till release 9. So that's truly about 30 days, maybe a little longer, that anybody has, including ourselves, have gotten to see it. And so there's still lots of additional work that we plan to put into it.
If you want to zone to me, I'm over in Arturs, which is the new city that we added.
Can't zone while dead or in combat. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. So sheathe your weapon.
Done. Got a viewer question, and I can't remember the answer. Is this a proprietary engine you guys are working on, or did you license one?
This is Unity, so the whole thing's built in Unity, and that's how we're able to support three platforms. Where we're all on PC,
Mac, and Linux.
Mac, Linux, and PC. And that's one of the benefits of going with Unity is that really lets us be on. It's built once, compiled to many, and it also gives us access to the asset store, so we're able to buy a lot of content.
Is it a legitimate alarm in your hotel going off, or is
that's out on the street?
That's out on the street.
Should you guys be evacuating?
No, that's probably some cosplayer who is overheated.
Yeah.
In their costume.
And there's plenty of them here that would do that. They're
my favorite, and I didn't have time to take a picture, but my favorite cosplay today, I know this is totally off subject, but was there's this Miyazaki film called My Neighbor Totoro, and there's this big giant sort of teddy bear-like creature called Totoro, and someone was in one of those costumes, except the idea was that this Totoro had an Iron Man suit. So it was a giant teddy bear in an Iron Man suit, basically.
That's
awesome.
Pretty ingenious.
So here we are. This is Arturs, and hopefully Richard can kind of narrate and talk about what this city is while we kind of walk around, and I'll be driver and cameraman, and Richard can narrate if you want to just follow me around.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. And so this way is at this time and probably will remain the largest individual city of the game. Arteris is the city of love. We have three main capitals: one for truth, one for love, one for courage. This one, as I think Starr already had mentioned, it's sort of it's sort of got both a Venice flair as well as kind of an Asian flair. So it's a Asian Venice, you might say. There's lots of canals. There's lots of aqueducts. Lots of the power that is generated in the city is generated through the water that flows and turns mechanical wheels. It's actually probably our most complex geometry city, in the sense of, I don't know if you've ever been to Venice, but I only went there for the first time myself last year, and it was built defensively in that there are no single streets that run from point to point, no big central roads. And the same thing's true here in this city. It's a bit of a maze to get around in. What you were just looking at there was sorry, that's all right.
Yeah.
Was the moon tower, this kind of energy tower that helps defend the city. One of the castles, the storyline that's here involves the two leaders, a man and a woman, who, despite the fact this is the city of love, have become somewhat estranged from each other, and they live now in kind of castles at the opposite sides of the town, and it's the intrigue between those two characters that is kind of the main plot element that you get drawn into here. And because this is, again, one city takes up three spots on our outdoor travel map, and so that's why the center part of the town is what we released here in Release 9. And now if you look past Starr, and you can see the castle out this side, and in a minute I'm sure he'll take you to the far side and show you the other castle. Those castles are currently have the front gates closed, and that's because we first did the central part of the town, and next release we'll have done those two other castle areas and the cities that are surrounding them as well.
Can you talk about the Watchers real quick? I noticed that they're kind of steampunk-looking spiders with a singular giant eye on the front of them.
You are exactly right. In fact, I think you're headed over towards a place called the Confirmatory. I think it's coming nearby here. Is a little bit to the left.
Oh yeah, we got to go over to we got to go north.
And a lot of the biggest cities in these towns not only have those moon towers that help power these kind of energy fences that kind of protect the cities, but a few of them also have a lot of these watchers, these oracle watchers. There's two types. There's like a grid bug, spidery looking type, and then there's a flying type as well. But both of them have these large red singular eyes. And in fact, those eyes are going to have headlights on them in an upcoming release, so that you can kind of see what they're doing. Their AI right now is a little bit simplistic. They are sort of the eyes and ears of the Oracle that is constantly surveying what's happening around. And so you'll find those Oracle watchers even on battlefields kind of taking a survey of who lived and who died, to kind of keep tabs on things going on in the world. So anyway, this structure right here is one of the Oracle confirmatories. It at the moment is just a hollow shell, but in the next release or two, you'll find that when you come in here and sit down in this chamber, you'll be granted an audience with the Oracle, who will manifest in kind of that front little alcove in this room. And the Oracle is sort of your guide to how you are doing in the game, and how you are doing on your path of virtue, or whether you have not been following the path of virtue. And based upon your interactions with the Oracle, you'll get advice as to how to continue on the game, and you might also be given some tasks. Like you might think of when you go to religious confession, you might be told to say 3 Hail Marys and perform some functions, and the Oracle will also give you advice on how to get back on the path if you are willing to follow the Oracle's advice.
Very interesting. It was one of the first things I noticed when I walked off the boat, so to speak. Actually, quite literally, walked off the boat. Was saw this little watcher scurrying around, and I was like, "Oh, it's a spider. Oh, that's not a spider. What is that?"
Yeah. Yeah, and you'll again you'll see those. They generally speaking won't bother you. At the moment, they probably will. I'm not even sure they defend themselves yet. They will. They will ultimately at least defend themselves, but they're not meant to be a combat interactive. By the way, this statue here is the statue of Sequana. She is the Titan of Love. She is a semi-mythological a person. The reason why I say semi-mythological is that there are quest lines associated with trying to track down this person who was the kind of the inspiration for 1/3 of the kind of episode 1 gameplay. The love quest is primarily oriented towards kind of research about and discovery of the history of this Titan of Love, Sequana, who is celebrated here in this statue.
All right.
And you may also notice the housing, by the way. This, if you've been looking at the housing in the other releases, most of the other towns of the game have had large empty lots with, relatively speaking, small homes that sit in the middle of the grassy lot that you might own, and then you may or may not put a fence around the property boundaries. In this case, right across this bridge that Starr is looking across right now, you'll notice there are 3 row houses side by side by side, and there's no grassy terrain around them at all. And so for a few of the cities, like this one, instead of finding empty lots that you put a cottage in the center of, in order to keep the player housing density high for these thriving metropolises, as well as, by the way, from a technical standpoint, it helps block sight lines if you do row houses. It kind of builds a nice continuous visual block. We built these row houses so that people can come in and buy themselves a row house and have actually a very similar amount of real estate in the sense of places to put furniture and trophies and things of that nature, but little or no yard around it, and instead you build upwards, which is of course exactly what you do in townhouses, like in New York City and other places. Is you when you don't have we don't have land, you build side by side and you build up instead, and so that's exactly what these represent. And there are a few different lot sizes for row houses also. There's sort of small, medium, and large, and then they also go 2, 3, 4 stories tall.
So one of the things I've also noticed in the town is different signs, and they have some characters on them. Just out of curiosity, are you guys creating an actual language, or is it a one-for-one, or they just
that's
symbols at the moment?
That language exists. That is Runic. And if there are people who are readers of Tolkien, you may have seen a variation of Runic on the dwarvish maps in Tolkien's works. Back in the Ultima days, I had a variation of Runic. If you just look at an encyclopedia or Google really these days, and you Google Runic, you will see that it is the Celtic letters that were used ahead of Roman letters, and there's dozens of variations on it down through history before they eventually, turned into the alphabet that you and I use on a daily basis. Ultima, had gone back to the original source and came up with a variation for Shroud of the Avatar. I went back again to the original source and made a unique variation. So for people who have read Runic and either Tolkien or Ultima, you'll find 80-90% of the letters to still be fairly familiar. Because they're historic, but a few letters are unique to each of Tolkien, Ultima, and Shroud of the Avatar.
That's supposed to say for sale?
That one does say for sale. You got it. See, you're becoming an expert already.
Well, I had to take a look because the runic alphabet that I pulled up, it actually kind of looks like the F there looks more like an O on the one I'm looking at.
Well, and in fact, the F and the O, one is curved and one is angular.
Yes.
And so F's and O's are very similar. But most runics include the same usage of O and F that Tolkien and Ultima and Shroud of the Avatar use.
I think I lost you. I think I ran away.
You did. I was like being a cryptographer here, getting back to my old roots, and you ran off.
No, stay where you are, because if you run off on your own, I guarantee you'll get lost.
Thanks. I appreciate your vote of confidence.
Yeah. Well, even I get lost sometimes in here. So I'm coming back for you. Oh, wait. I ran too far. Oh, one thing that I forgot to show. Speaking of getting lost.
Maps.
We have maps now.
I'm anxiously awaiting my cloth map in the mail.
We will be making cloth maps. In fact, I already handmade a couple early on with our first prototype, just to demonstrate and be able to show people this will happen.
If you open up your inventory, hopefully you have some maps in there.
I tried to zone to you, so it'll.
Stop now.
Oh, stop running.
Yeah.
You said I'd get lost. I figured I'd cheat.
Yeah, although zoning to me while I'm moving, it'll be interesting to see where it puts you.
Alpha being alpha. Yeah, I'll have my map to go along with my coin.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, let's see where it puts you. Is it still loading?
Yes, it's at 94%. There we go, and I am back at the statue.
Back at the statue. Okay, perfect. I'm coming. Don't do anything.
All right, looking at inventory.
And then you can type in the word map if you want, and you'll hopefully see a bunch of maps.
And there should be a map of Arteris in there.
There is.
Yeah. So if you hit that, if you double click on that, that'll bring up a map. So instead of an automatic mini map, we in our game maps are actual objects that you find, trade, and eventually be able to craft.
Mm-hmm. And maps can have various levels of accuracy and completeness or coverage of part or all of a space. And so I think the map of Arteris that's in your inventory is, I think, complete.
It's a complete.
It looks that way.
But some of the other maps that are in your inventory are partials of other cities. And of course, the variations on will be more common in the final form.
Yeah, Ravensmoor looks like it's a very incomplete, but the rest of them look pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yep.
Watchers are checking you out while you're checking out your map.
Oh, I can see interesting things happening to the Watchers.
Oh, yeah.
Like this one needs a bug net. Just catch that one.
All right, look at one last thing. We'll go a little further. So where I'm running past right now is there'll be agriculture in the game as part of the crafting system, and so you'll be able to farm on your own property. But for those people who don't have their own property, there will be these public gardening spaces. So this is going to be where you can come rent out space, much like a public garden in the real world, for you to grow crops and reagents and things like that.
Cool. So is cartography going to be a skill since we have maps?
Possibly for episode 1. We're not 100% sure we're going to be able to get it in. And we're not sure where in the skill crafting tree it would sit. But we really want to do it. So we'll see if we can do it. This is someone's Lord of the Manor lot. Let's see who owns this. Archaean Avantgarde. So if you double click on the sign, it tells you whose house you're looking at.
And again, if you wanted to, you can go into that house and look around and see what they've decorated. Of course, people have only had a couple of days to do any acquisition of things to decorate with. So if some of the towns get decorated. Empty, yeah. Some of the towns like Pax Lair gets decorated incredibly detailed. Some of this guy spent a little bit of time on, or at least some, greater than 0. And so he set himself up for himself and perhaps a spouse or a partner to take over this particular keep.
If you double click on the thrones, you can sit on them.
Oh,
Okay.
all right, he actually knows how to slit. Slash
No, that's actually.
Oh, that's somebody else?
Yeah, that's another player.
Oh, that's funny.
This guy named Royal Sexy who asked if he could tag along the tour.
I tried to do slash sit and it didn't work for me.
No, just double click on it.
On the throne.
No.
Nope. No luck.
Switch thrones here. See if the other one works for you.
Yep.
There you go.
Oh wait, that one's bugged.
So, question: this throne is supposed to be a reward from one of the quests that you were talking about when the game was first.
That's correct.
About a year ago. Is that quest in the game that someone was actually able to obtain this, or is somebody able to? Oh, okay. So it actually. That quest does exist in the game right now.
Yeah,
it does exist in the game. There's a few extras around right now that are just left in from we haven't cleared out. So there are some of these may have been acquired in other ways, but the nominal way is in the game, and ultimately will be the only way to acquire these.
Oh look, someone also set up their holiday tree.
Mm-hmm. Festivus for the rest of us.
Yes.
I appreciate there's actually candles on there with the little wax holders.
Oh yeah.
Right. You wanted to show us one other thing? You didn't say what that thing was.
Thing, but,
okay.
We can. There's still more. We've only seen probably a fifth of the city. So let's go around the eastern quarter, and we can see the other castle. So this is the northernmost limit of the island delta that the town was built on, and so at these northern caps, so we've got 3 big player houses, 2 lords of the manor and 2 duke lots. To get over to the duke lots, you actually have to take these little boats over here.
And these are for actual backers of the game, correct?
Yeah,
Correct.
So our 2 highest level of backers are Lord of the Manor and Duke, and so this is the reward for the second highest level backer, and this is Sockeye Salmon's lot. Let's see if he's done any decoration. Oh yeah, he's got some decorations outside. Set up a little crafting area. These are all the different kinds of crafting stations for crafting. So we've got a blacksmith table that I'm standing in front of right here. Got a carpentry table and a milling table. And so, so just a real quick thing: the milling table is the refining step of where you take the wood from like trees you chop down and turn it into boards and poles that you would then use on this carpentry table over here to turn into wooden objects.
Like tables, chairs, and chest of drawers.
But also weapons as well, so spears and bows and crossbows and things like that.
Oh, this guy's done some decorating.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's nice.
It's got a virtue fountain.
Oh, yeah, he does.
With candles on top. Oh, that's
no, that's the chandelier. But he's got the ankh on top of there. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, and he's got, of course, his throne. Everyone puts the throne in front of this window. I've noticed that pattern.
Huh.
Where they just kind of centered to the room. It makes sense.
Yeah.
If you let me loose in here, it said put a throne somewhere. This is probably where I'd put it.
Here, I'm going to kneel before you.
Let it be.
Oh wait, hold on.
Bring it up.
There we go. There you are, sir. I'm honoring you in your throne.
Thank you.
And you be the royal bow.
Well deserved.
Did you guys do any work on actual character movement between the last release and this one?
No, we did. We added some more customization options for the characters in character creation. So last, I think it was 2 releases ago, we added morph targets for facial customization, and so we added a couple more features. This release we'll add a couple more next release as well. But we didn't do much with movement that I recall.
It just seemed like it was,
do you ask?
it just felt like it was moving a little smoother.
Oh yes, then of course we did a lot of
brilliant work.
Yes.
We did brilliant work.
Maybe it was just in my head, or I was comparing it to.
Very complex calculations and coding stuff happened, and magic sprites and pixie dust that.
And now you don't move like a Mack truck.
Right.
You can actually strafe.
So this is the other. So we're now on the other side. When we came up through the city, when we first arrived, we went along the western edge, and now we're over on the eastern edge, and this is the other castle, which is the
Palace of the Winds. One was the Palace of Stone. The other was the Palace of Winds.
and actually, yeah. Oh no, we can't get through.
Can't get through, the door's locked.
But if we run all the way to the end, you can see the scale of the space. That these are the biggest defensible walls in the game.
Now you say defensible walls. Is there going to be some way to lay siege to these walls?
There will be.
Yeah, so they're going to be some, as part of that PvP stuff and guild warfare, they're going to be castle defense scenarios where one team will man the defenses of the castle and one team will attack the castle, and they'll be, hopefully, crossing our fingers if we make it work, there'll be some siege engines that you can build and use to both defend and attack the castles.
Now, is this release 1 or like release 2 further on over the timeline?
We're going to do our damnedest to make it work in episode 1. That is the goal. And if we look, so as we're walking away, if you look back the way we came, so that would be south, you can see one of the main aqueducts coming down from the mountains into the city. And then there's player water lots around the edges of the city. And someone has cleverly placed, of course, a lighthouse in the river, because everyone knows that you need lighthouses in rivers. But that's one of the beauties of, like, the letting the players, place the kind of house they want.
Oh, so a player placed the lighthouse there.
Yeah.
Okay.
90% of this city is player housing. So 90% of the buildings you're looking at are player-owned property.
Very interesting. So those signs shouldn't have said for sale. They should have said sold.
Well, no.
That's because there's only one kind of sign at the moment.
Well, no. They changed state. So the ones that say for sale are ones that are still open to claim. But if you'll notice, like as we walk through this, like this first one here, the one I'm looking at, the stone one, is actually claimed. And if we go inside of it, we can see someone's actually, they put a banner right in the doorway there. Oh, interesting.
It's like a gypsy door.
Yeah. And so, they've decorated it. This is their house, etc. But if you look, if you go back outside and you look at the one directly across the street, it says for sale because it is literally still for sale. So,
or the person put it up for sale. You're only allowed to own one lot at a time at the moment. So somebody may have owned that lot and then given it up.
It's mine now.
Yeah,
all right, there you go.
Now you can go on inside and you can drag. You might have stuff in your inventory. Does he start with the things you put down inside the house?
I don't know. Let me see if I have anything.
Let's see.
And
Looks like I got some stuff. Got a rug.
Oh yeah, so you can put that down. Look at that.
There you go.
You now are a proud homeowner, and you have done your own decoration.
Got a banner.
I can turn your fire on and off. Oh look.
Yeah, nice banner.
Although it sorts through the floor. Pre-alpha. Pre-alpha.
Yeah.
Pre-alpha.
Well, they put a brazier there on the wall. I tried.
Yeah, you have to put that on the floor.
There you go.
Which
Nice.
is which just like every object. So one of the things we're trying to do in our world is, make it so every object can be interacted with. So
Now, can
those
you make
lights.
you kindred, by the way, here too, so you can both?
Oh yeah, if you come back out to your sign, and you double click on it, there's a permission section of the sign where you can give me permission to also decorate and add to and things like that. Because we want because housing is a finite resource in our game, we want players the ability to share their houses with each other, and so that permission system controls who has access. And I think I maybe in the last stream I might have given you guys access to my house in that one.
I did. I messed around with your boat.
Oh, that's right. So
I was making all your pictures crooked.
yeah, you were
wicked.
I was that guy.
You were messing with my OCD, so great, thanks.
Yeah, go fix that bunk bed that I put right in the middle of a hallway downstairs.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, it's driving me. See if I can. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna put it in this room down here. You're gonna give yourself a downstairs bedroom.
All right. I put a bucket in this room on the second floor, so that's the bathroom.
Oh yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
of course.
bucket.
The chamber pot. that you can throw. You can empty out the window.
Yes.
All right. Well,
Into the streets.
Yeah, to the streets, and we'll sort of make a full circle and head back out. Oh, here's a little graveyard.
Very nice.
And actually, interestingly, those gravestones when we launch, the names on those gravestones will be populated because one of the backer rewards was getting to make a gravestone
To your ancestor.
to your quote ancestor.
Basically, anybody you want.
And so players, those are all going to be populated not just by the system; those are going to be populated by player info. The way we've talked, and I think we maybe talked about this last time. How with our crafting, all of the best gear is made by players, and even player items are what we use in the loot on the monsters that you fight. So we're trying to push the level of player content in the world as far as we possibly can. So that's just one little example. And so here's one last little vista. You can see the aqueducts and the water
The fish
wheel.
swimming in the water.
The fish swimming in the water, the birds flying, the fish that you'll be able to use your
Actually
fishing
fish.
pole once fishing comes online. I think that's probably in a couple, maybe two
Two
releases.
yeah. And and that's actually what I'm looking forward to too. I don't know if you know the stories about how when we put fishing in Ultima Online. We put in some systems like a virtual ecology that no one ever noticed or cared about that we had to rip out after putting man-years worth of work into it. And then we had other things we spent no time on, like the 50-50 chance to catch a fish on fishing. It became so popular, we had to double down and later spend a lot of time on fishing. It remained one of the very popular things to do in Ultima Online. And so this time we have I think a really fun fishing simulation that goes in that includes species of fish that are available at different times, different places. It includes sizes of fish to where we'd be able to run, in the long run, fishing tournaments and things of that nature as well. So anyway, the simple act of fishing will be even more fun than it was in our last game.
Oh, and our timing is perfect because as the sun is setting on our live stream, the sun is setting in Arteris, and you can turn around and you can see the lanterns lighting up the streets and the canals, and
by the next release or so, by the way, those lanterns will turn on and off by the NPCs will go by and turn them on and off. That does happen, I think, in Owl's Head.
Yeah, the other cities have it. These new lights, we didn't have time to set up the interactive scripts on them, but next release, the interactive scripts will be set on, and the NPCs will go and turn them off and on.
And like sands to the hourglass, so are the days of our lives.
That's
indeed.
One of the things that you said that really tickled me when we were running down this road, and I was actually laughing. I don't know if you heard me, but you guys have so many lore-heavy items and story-related things we were talking about, and we're talking about the graveyard, and you're talking about the ancestry, and then Richard pipes in, basically anybody you want.
Yeah,
you could just have put on, they don't have to be important, just anybody.
It's the backers.
Yeah, the player gets to decide, right? So, I mean, with our approval. like like if we're not going to let them put
Here lies Fluffy the cat.
profanity on their tombstone, but yeah, if they want Fluffy as the name, Fluffy their pet, just like another one of the rewards for the high level backers is we're going to do a custom head sculpt for the Dukes and the Lords of the Manor, which we just assumed people would use for their own face, but a lot of them have requested anything but that. Like one guy wants to have his face wrapped in bandages,
literally, yeah,
like sort of
like a leper,
like a leper dark man kind of thing. I think one guy saw a bug we had in one of the releases where you had no head, just a pair of floating eyes, and he wants that as his custom head.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, any last questions for us?
Yeah, I do. Since I asked about this earlier before Richard got here, but I know that you had a panel yesterday at Dragon Con about crowdfunding, and I was wondering if you could really quickly give us a couple highlights from that.
Yeah, well, it was interesting. Of course, one of the folks from Starr Citizen was there, as well as a professor from the local university who's been studying crowdfunding. And what's interesting about crowdfunding is that all of us, meaning all dozen games that have come near to $1 million or have pulled in more than $1 million, all have been doing a very, very good job or have been worked really hard, I should say. Oh, I didn't realize we had a camera even ongoing here. I've been all this time assuming there wasn't one.
Oh, there you are.
And I totally forgot and haven't had it aimed at you at all.
I didn't realize you were in the room. At first.
That's hilarious. Well,
oh, by the way, Richard's here with me in the room.
Yeah. But yes, what's fascinating or fun about it is that all of us have been sharing best practices very, very thoroughly, and very commonly also even directly saying, back our game and we'll give you some, back their game and we'll give you something in our game about their game, and vice versa, like we did with Starr Citizen and some of the other stuff that Brian Fargo has been doing. We all sort of think that the rising tide of successful crowdfunding will lift all ships, but conversely, if any one of us screws this up and doesn't deliver appropriately for our constituents, that will actually make it harder for both all of us and anyone else to use this as a mechanism to bring games to the gamers directly, at the gamer's request. And so we take that task very seriously. And I think that was probably the number one takeaway. Everybody's still very bullish on it. Everybody feels very thankful to the users. Everybody feels this very deep connection with the players as partners in the development process, and then the sense of obligation to do it right. So I think it's making it for a very disciplined set of developers to who feel this pressure to spend the user's money wisely.
How much have you guys obtained now?
We're at
4.7. So getting closer to 5, and at least as far as we can tell, because not everybody publishes their exact numbers, but from the numbers we can see, that puts us as the second highest crowdfunded game to date. Of course, the highest crowdfunded game is more than 10 times us. So
Starr Citizen is pulled in 52 million. They said here at the show.
Yeah, that's a phenomenon all on its own.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for your time. Viewers,
Sure.
I hope you enjoyed this little sneak peek into Build 9, and we'll have everybody back, I guess, for Release 10 in a month.
Yep. Yeah, if you'll have us again, we'll
love to do it.
We'll do it every release.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.